I've just got back from a overnight walk at Mount Cole, the Beeripmo Walk. Second time I've done it. It was good, really great short walk. Overnighter, really cold last night, but still good. Had the place to myself. I've just recently got a new pack, Osprey Kestrel 48 in size small medium, which is actually 46 litres. I've really downgraded from a big canvas 75 litre pack, trying to minimise my gear. Read a lot of reviews about it prior to purchase, bit of feedback, and they were really helpful, so I thought I'd add my own little bit of feedback and do a bit of a gear load out so you can see what I took for an overnight walk. So this is the Kestrel 48. All loaded up. I weighed it when I left with 2 litres of water, fuel and food for overnight, and it was just over 11 kilos, which I was really happy with. That's a big weight reduction for me. I'm usually carrying quite a bit more than that, so it was very comfortable to carry. I found the back panel really comfortable. One of the reasons I chose this pack was that I like a pack that sits close to your back rather than one of those suspension frames. I just find they don't suit my back well. So this is the pack I got. One of the biggest criticisms that I read in reviews was that the external pockets, so the side pockets and the front pockets, don't have a lot of capacity. And I've got to say that's true, but they're big enough for my reasons. Maybe we'll start a bit of a load out of what's in the front. So I've got a 1 litre bottle. On that side, and then my alcohol fuel stove little bottle, which is an old Listerine mouthwash bottle. On the other side, I've got another litre bottle of water. These Coolridge ones are good. The sports tops fit perfectly on the soy squeeze for back flushing, which is good. Got my tent poles. I've actually got a Lanshan 2 tent as well. I don't use trekking poles, so I'm waiting for the carbon poles to come to that, and then that'll all fit inside the pack. But with my existing tent, which is a Wilderness Equipment second arrow, it's about 13 years old probably, it's still going okay. I have to put the what's it called? The poles on the outside. So I'll load everything out here. So honestly, I mean, that's pretty good. I'm happy with what I can get in the side pockets, but it is tight, as you can see. They kind of just get in there. I don't think a 1 litre Nalgene bottle would fit comfortably in there. You'd really be stretching it out. It is really tight. And these have the hip holster sort of front load pockets as well, but it really doesn't work with a bottle this size. They just jab you in the back. It's really not comfortable. Maybe if you had a 500ml bottle or something like that, and we're using a hydration pack, it might be okay. On the hydration pack, the sleeve is on the outside, which is a great feature, but with the pack fully packed, it is really tight, so I think you'd struggle to get much in there. You might get 2 litres in there, but I don't use hydration pack anyway. In the front panel, I've got my waterproof jacket, backpack jacket, and my day-to-day knife, which is a Mora basic. I prefer a fixed blade knife. They don't weigh much, but they're handy. Now that is really tight with that packed. I'll probably get a pair of waterproof pants in there as well if I needed them, but that'd probably be about it. You're not going to be getting a wet tent or anything in there. You can stretch it out a little bit more than that. You might get another bottle of water and a couple of things. It's not a huge pouch. The other feedback was the external pockets. So there's one long side external pocket here. Some of the feedback was that it wasn't really usable with the pack packed, and I got to agree with that. There's not really any space in there at all. The pack's full. I don't use it really anyway. You could probably put a map down there. Might be a good map pocket to have quick access. something flat could be a good thing. The pack also on the other side has a side access panel, which I don't use because I use a garbage bag as a pack liner, so I just pack it all as a big stack. But if you were using, I reckon that access and that pocket might be useful if you were using the bag for other reasons like rock climbing or something like that. But for a backpacking bag, I prefer just a sack. So if you go into the bag a bit more, that's my tiny little sit pad, which I keep on the sleeping pad straps for the lower of the bag. Same thing, this bag has sleeping bag compartment access, which I don't use as I've just got it packed as a sack. There's also a rain cover here, which I didn't use this trip and I wouldn't use regularly. Sometimes I find probably the only reason I'd have a rain cover is for if I have to store my bag outside the vestibule or tent at night, cover it up to stop it getting some of the dew condensation over it. So it's got a really generous top pocket on the brain. The top pocket on this bag is fixed, it's not adjustable, but I found it's plenty of space and it has, like I said, this only had 2 days worth of food overnight, 2 days worth of food in it. I could probably fit 3 days of food in it, I reckon, as it is. Probably have to refine things a bit if I wanted to stretch it out to a week or so. So in here, just got a little ditty bag, some wet wipes, toothbrush, insect repellent, my water filter kit, which is Soya Squeeze Original with the cleaning couple. So I use a 2 litre soya pouch as the dirty water bag and a 2 litre platypus pouch as the clean water bag, and set it up as gravity just to trickle through. That's actually the first time I've used that and it worked perfectly. It was really good. We'll see how long the soya pouch lasts. Might replace it with a knock pouch if that fails at some point. In here also got some toilet paper, compass, and my head torch. That's it for the top pouch, I think. Yeah, that's it. And there's a mesh pouch under the lid. In that, I had my keys in there, car keys. I've also got just a little first aid kit and a snake bandage, even though it was freezing this weekend, so there was no chance of a snake being out, I reckon. So inside the pack, my tent. It's a bit wet, gonna hang it out in the sun. That's a Wilderness Equipment Second Arrow. It's a really great tent. It's probably 1.5 person, it's quite small, but it's done the job good for me. Like I said, it's about 13 years old probably, and the floor is starting to degrade a little bit. But otherwise it's holding up pretty good. Tent with poles, that tent weighs about 2.5 kilos, so it's definitely not lightweight, but it's a full winter tunnel tent. And I do sleep quite cold, so I like to have a nice secure shelter. I'm going to start trying out the Lanshan 2 in the warmer months, see how that goes. And one day I may replace that, and I'd probably get another 4-season tunnel tent if I was going to, but we'll see how it goes. But it gets in this pack, this 46 litre pack, no worries. That inside. Heavy duty garbage bag liner. That's my food bag, pretty much just full of trash now. Just an old nylon stuff sack. Actually brought a book this trip, which I'm glad I did because I was in the tent for quite a few hours out of the wind. Shackleton South, great book, love a good adventure book. my cook set, which I've done another small video on if you wanted to check it out. First time out using it, worked perfectly. Cooked up some ramen with bok choy, shiitake mushrooms, dried tofu. Quite a good thing. It was perfect out of the pot. Not much. I'm really happy with how that worked out. Clothes bag. It's an 8-litre dry sack. It's just got a Patagonia Nano Puff down jacket. That's my warm jacket, and then just a layer of thermals for basically around camp, sleeping in, and a dry pair of socks. Sleeping mat. This is new for me. I've actually up until now used the Thermarest Pro Light Plus. Went with a more inflatable. This is a Nemo Astro insulated. It's not a lightweight air pad. It weighs about 700 grams packed, but it was cheap. I got it for about $100 Australian, which is pretty cheap for a mat like this. And it's 75 denier nylon, so it's got, and it's nice to the touch, so it's going to probably be pretty long lasting, hopefully. It's pretty comfortable, happy with it, but it's also it was 2 degrees last night, and it was probably the max 2 degrees Celsius, and it's probably the coldest this would take. I wouldn't want it much colder than that. And my sleeping bag. So this is an old sleeping bag, another one I've had for about, I don't know, 12, 13 years probably. This is an Exped woodpecker. Can't remember what it's rated to. Weighs about 1,100 grams, so it's not the lightest sleeping bag, but it's fairly warm. I could probably do with a wash to rejuvenate it a little bit. I've also got a silk liner. Often I'll sleep in the liner with the sleeping bag over me more like a quilt. And this was a new one for me, Nemo Philo Elite inflatable pillow, which was really great. First time I've ever used an inflatable pillow. Usually I just use my clothes bag stuffed as a pillow. So much better, really, really good. So that's about it. I do plan to change things again. Like I said, start using the Lanshan 2, give that a try. I'd like to replace my sleeping bag, or like get an extra 3-season quilt. Probably a synthetic one, doing the vegan life thing. Maybe even replace the Nemo at some point with something a bit warmer. I think warmth over weight is going to be the priority for me, especially sleeping with a quilt. So I'm not sure what I'll go with, but anything that's light, a bit lighter than that, a bit warmer would be a good one, which is doable. So that's it. That's my gear for an overnight hike. Pretty much take all the exact same stuff if I was going a bit longer, just the extra food. If I was going to really stretch it out, might throw in some dehydrated meals, but otherwise I like to cook in the pot, get it done that way. Yeah, but really happy with the 48. It's got more features than I really want, but I wanted a pack that was fairly robust, close fitting back, and just under, like around 50 litres or just under. So it fits all the bills. I mean, it's got extra zips. It's not the lightest pack. It weighs about 1.5 kilos, but I'm coming down from a 75 litre canvas pack, which weighs 3.2 kilos. So this is half the weight. Really, really comfortable. Yeah. Any comments or questions, let me know. Cheers. Thanks heaps.